Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the February 23rd, 2020 new moon in Pisces. Now, new moons in astrology, I want to talk about as far as new moons in general in astrology. New moons in astrology, this could be a time for people that people may feel very revitalized, very rejuvenated. It could be a time where you might feel this near inexorable energy. It could be a time also when one may discard what is very frivolous, superfluous, put it to the side, and focus on some kind of a new beginning. And it really is a period where you're just basically any procrastination or hesitation can likely come to an end, and it's really could very strongly be embarking on some kind of new beginning for many. And this could be a time to looking at, new moons in astrology again could be a very strong starting point for people. Now, this is given that this is going to be in Pisces. This is going to, new moons in astrology, of course, can collectively impact all that are, everyone, but what it is, though, it especially could impact and affect people with the sun, moon, or ascendant in Pisces or the zodiac sign Cancer. Pisces, of course, because it's going to be in their sign, and Cancer, of course, because Cancers are just simply impacted and affected by all transits phases of the moon very strongly, because the moon does govern Cancer, it does rule Cancer, of course. And I think a lot of this because could be attributed to why Cancer can be so moody, fickle, and temperamental. So anyway, but as far as when you're talking about new moon and being in Pisces, as far as a lot of people, this can have a lot more. It's just maybe a regular full moon, but it may have more significance and impact than the average new moon, because it's going to be at a critical degree at 4 degrees Pisces, which could make it more prominent and more pronounced and give it more emphasis. Now, looking at this as well, you're going to say, as far as this could be a start for many. When you're talking about new moon Pisces in general, this could be a start for many, a new period of idealism, of self-sacrificing, of helping those less fortunate than yourself, such as the impoverished, the homeless, the oppressed, the hungry. It could be a new period of altruism, and it might even be the beginning process of starting, as far as forgiveness toward others. It could be a little harder if you have if you have something prominent in your chart, like saying Scorpio or even Taurus. Those two signs might be the ones that harbor grudges for longer periods. Scorpio can be very vindictive and vengeful and can hold a grudge for a while, and Taurus, though not easily provoked, of course, they as many of you may know, that Taurus once they hold out. Once they reach their point of endurance, they might hold a grudge against somebody for an eternity. A lot of times their adversaries might not ever be forgiven. So you got to factor that into the equation. But generally speaking, it could be a time for many where they might be really, it could be about forgiveness. If it's in one's first house, or say it's conjunct one's sun, it could be a time where one may really be forgiving themselves for just simply not being infallible, or for not just for not doing something at one point in time that they might have lamented for some time. Now, especially if this is making can impact the zodiac sign Pisces very strongly, but especially if it's making a conjunction to one's Pisces sun, moon, or ascendant. Of course, it could be very intensified as far as this energy goes. Now, another thing, looking at this, it could be a start for many in some Pisces type career or a job, and especially if this falls in what I consider one of the job / money houses, which of course are the 2nd, 6th, or 10th house. Now, it could be the start where many people may begin something connected, like something Pisces related, such as anesthesiology, something like chemistry, poetry, dancing, photography, working on boats, perhaps, or a dock. It could be anything, something associated with the water or the sea. It could be doing something with the metaphysical, which includes astrology, or something with paranormal activity, or anything that could be Pisces related, such as working as an illusionist or a magician, working with special effects. So, in any way, another thing about this too, and remember too, I don't think, know if it's the new moon can always just be auspicious. I mean, let's say if this falls in, if it falls in the first or the sixth house in one's natal chart. In some cases, it may be the beginning of some Piscean related, health issue. It could be something like with the toes or the feet, or it could even be in some cases some inadvertent assimilation of some chemical, something with the lymphatic system, something Pisces related, especially say like if you've got this conjunct the ascendant or the sun, or let's say it's making an inconjunct aspect from your sixth house to your natal ascendant. Could be another example where this could be increase that propensity for something Pisces or related. Or it could even be an injury, maybe due to fog or slipping on something, chemical related. If this is in the sixth house, of course, could be connected with work and employment. So it could be some issue associated with that, like a spillage and slipping on a chemical inadvertently. Another thing too about this could be a time too, and even like say if this falls in the seventh house, it could be the revelation or unveiling of a Piscean open adversary. It could be a Pisces sun, moon, or ascended person, or not a revelation. It could be the start, I should say. The revelation, of course, is more the full moon, but it could be the beginning of some kind of you know, maybe open adversary. That could be a Pisces sun, moon, or ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Piscean characteristics. So, anyway, now in eighth house, it could be the beginning of a spiritual transformation for some, as an example, but or some detox where you're doing something where you're trying to eliminate something from toxic and toxins from the body through some kind of, I guess you could say, transformation, since it's the eighth house. But anyway, well, another thing about this though, as far as this new moon in Pisces goes, again, it can be very significant because it's going to be at a critical degree. And the thing about this too is it doesn't make there's no major adverse aspects that it makes. So the thing about it is it doesn't make any adverse aspect to any other planet, and any major adverse aspect to one. So a lot of this energy could be very free. It can be without opposition, without conflict, and that's what makes this could be a very auspicious new moon for those reasons. And you also have this the pattern. I mean, you're going to have this within about 120 degrees, all the planets on this day. So that's a very strong concentration of energy and focus. And what it tells me is that if you're utilizing the new moon energy, you're likely to be less oblivious. You're likely to be more oblivious to extraneous things that might potentially distract you. So it could be a lot of single-minded focus and determination, because you have all these energies in approximately, or near 100, near 120 degrees. So this is a time where you can really do something without really by eliminating diversions or distractions at this time, and be very oblivious to anything that might potentially distract you or deter you from what you're trying to do in connection with this energy. So, and another thing about this too, you're going to have I mean, a series. This is going to be a series of conjunctions with the Pisces stellium. It's going to start with you got the moon and the sun at Pisces 4 degrees. Then you have it hitting Mercury, and Mercury is making conjunction to Neptune. So this is something which can be very favorable for doing something with communication, which is Mercury, that's Pisces related, and it's going to then you have Neptune following up with Neptune, perhaps through filmography, and Pisces can be connected with that anyway. This could be a very good period, I think, for people that want to embark on something in connection with the metaphysical, which could include astrology, by utilizing communication and doing so through filmography, because you've got that Neptune blending in with this as well. So I think could be very good period for that. You've got the sextile, from very tight sextile from Mars in Capricorn, which I think a lot of this could pan out and adding some discipline and structure to this Piscean energy. It can ground it enough where people may want to could be able to manifest their dreams at this time, but doing so really in a realistic way, and more in having some discipline, where these dreams could be very attainable and grounded. So those are some ways I think this could manifest and pan out. Another thing too, looking at this as far as Sabian symbols go, well, this is going to be, again, being at 4 degrees Pisces. Now, as far as Sabian symbols go, this could be something very fortuitous and auspicious for starting something where you can do something with communication. And what helps us as well is that you're going to have the conjunction to Mercury. As far as this new moon in Pisces goes, it could be something where people can do something in which they can express themselves, especially if the person is already very articulate, verbose, and has good command of the English language and has good diction. And being in Pisces, of course, this could be something where some communication connected with poetry or dancing or the metaphysical, which includes astrology, spirituality, photography, chemistry. It could be anything, again, I mean, especially something Pisces related. Hold on a moment, people. Now, the thing about this, for me personally, I thought it was very interesting. This is going to be making a very exceptional type conjunction to my natal North Node in Pisces in the 11th house. And given that the moon is public, I mean, this could really be, I'm hoping that this could be very beneficial and fortuitous for some kind of, maybe some increased success through the metaphysical, which includes astrology. And of course, being the 11th house, tied in with a goal and aspiration that I have. So that could be something, perhaps to look forward to for me when this new moon in Pisces does come around on February 23rd. And the thing, and again, being at a critical degree, of course, making it more pronounced and more prominent. Now, the thing about this as well is that, again, going back to the fact, it doesn't make any major adverse aspect to any other planet at this time. But at the same time, I think the fact that Mars is going to make a very close sextile to it, Mars in Capricorn, this can give added courage at this time as well, and added energy and vitality into starting or embarking on something Pisces related. But I want to go back again to the fact the Sabian symbols, going back to being at 4 degrees Pisces, as far as the meaning. On the negative side of this, though, as far as Sabian symbols go at 4 degrees Pisces, it can also be a time where, based on the Sabian symbol meaning, it could be a time as well where you have to exercise strong discretion and caution with who you may get involved with if you're going to collaborate on something with somebody Piscean related, which could be whether it's something with astrology or the metaphysical, which includes astrology, poetry, dance. And if you're trying to do something that can be really that you're doing something with somebody with, or some kind of new arrangement with somebody that could be Pisces related. It might be something where you feel that your connection with this person is just simply phenomenal initially, but upon, further review, it may be a time where you might see that, the true colors, and this person may be somebody you might actually wind up having some animosity toward later on, and it could be like a breakup where the situation might become contentious later on. So it's something just to remember and look at. Now, this is also going to be what makes this really good. I mean, this is one of the better new moons I believe in some time, because this new moon is also going to be very close proximity to the fixed star for Fomalhaut. And I don't know if I'm saying that right, but given that, what this could mean as far as the fixed star Fomalhaut goes, it could indicate, very a beginning of doing something that could lead to some great prosperity and affluence, but it might require more laborious effort than a lot of people may actually think. And the fact that it's going to be conjunct Mercury, this gives certainly an added ability to do something with writing and communication. So this is a very very auspicious, I think, new moon at this time. And what's interesting too, you also have a couple singleton planets during this time, which could give it more emphasis, these planets, because remember, when you have a new moon in astrology, the other energy can be intensified and amplified as well. Now, Venus is in Aries at this time. It will be a time for many where, I mean, you're looking at this like, I mean, it's being a singleton, being the only planet in a fire sign at the time. Venus in Aries can be about valuing courage, fortitude, and valor, and aggressiveness and assertiveness, which is very good when you're talking about new moon energy and being able to perhaps make money. And Venus can be connected with money, of course, money through by taking the initiative, having enterprise. Not, no procrastination. And you also have Uranus and Taurus, which is a singleton as well, because it's the only planet in a fixed sign. And Uranus and Mars are going to be at the handles of this planetary pattern on this day. And the thing about it is, which could give those planets much more, which can give them more significance. Mars, of course, being about courage and vitality, energy, and initiative. And you have Uranus, of course, could be connected with ingenuity. And a thing, too, is, and you're going to have those planets in trine with each other. And Mars and Uranus will trine each other. You're going to have Uranus making Uranus and Taurus making the sextile to the Pisces, to the new moon in Pisces at this time as well. So this could give added ability to start something with more independence, more freedom, and perhaps some ingenuity blended in as well. Uranus and Taurus energy just by itself could be a time for many where could be about the formulation of new financial ideas at this time. And then you have it blending in well with the new moon in Pisces energy. And the thing about this too is, I mean, all this other energies I stated before can be amplified and more intensified and amplified at this time, because it's taking place at the time of the new moon. You're also going to have the South Node in Capricorn conjunct Mars in Capricorn at this time. And when you have a conjunction with the South Node in Mars, I mean, when the South Node is in conjunction with some other planet, this could suggest going away from something. Now, the fact that the South Node in Capricorn is conjunct Mars in Capricorn, this could be an indicator perhaps of going away from maybe somebody, maybe a contentious situation in your career, or maybe somebody that was basically maybe an angry, authoritative figure, acrimonious authoritative figure, a boss, a supervisor, going away from some angry situation that was again connected with one's career, because of course Capricorn can be associated with that. And the thing about this too is it could also mean just be going away from some angry, contentious situation in general. And being in Capricorn might have been one that was really, very, very constant and was practically almost regimented. It was maybe something that was very consistent, whether it was a physical situation for many, or it could be something that may have just been, a verbally, contentious situation. And it could be, and also might have been going away from arguments over responsibilities and what one's career endeavors may be. But the fact that you're going away, many people may be going away from that, and at the same time, you have the new moon in Pisces, which could be about starting something new and and this is a time too, and you have again the Uranus and Taurus being a singleton planet at this time, being the only planet in a fixed sign at the time of this new moon, that could emphasize freedom and independence in terms of generating money. So you can do the math on this. This is definitely a very good period for starting something and leaving, and some people may be leaving some career behind in order to start something else, which could very well be Pisces related, or could simply be done with a lot of idealism. But having that sextile from Mars and Capricorn will help ground that energy, I believe, and prevent it from being overly unrealistic. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.